11 Jewish ways of thinking that help you become wealthy sooner. Among the richest entrepreneurs in the world, nearly half are Jewish. Names like Rockefeller, the oil tycoon J.P. Morgan, the finance giant Ford, and Warren Buffett, the legendary investor, are all Jews. Considered one of the most intelligent peoples on earth, Jews have a very important rule about making money. Use wisdom and thinking. They condensed their money-making experience and recorded it in the ancient book Talmud, then passed it down through generations. Below are 11 rich mindsets that help you learn from Jewish wisdom and build your own financial magnetism. Once you grasp these principles, wealth will naturally look for you. 1. The wheat grain mindset. The Talmud says, "You may lend wheat for seed, but you must not eat the wheat used as seed." That means, wheat used as seed must be sown into the ground so it can multiply into a new harvest. If you grind that wheat into flour and eat it, it becomes pure consumption. It creates no new value. In other words, if you waste your capital, you will always remain poor. Only when you learn to let money give birth to more money will you truly become rich. Rockefeller deeply believed this. When he graduated high school, he borrowed $1,000 from his father to start a company with a friend and began accumulating capital. In 1860, he saw huge potential in the oil industry, but oil prices were still very high. After studying the market, he patiently waited. 3 years later, when crude oil dropped to 10 cents, he knew his time had come. He sold his company, bought refining equipment, and quickly made a large profit. Even after becoming a millionaire, he didn't use his profits to splurge. He kept reinvesting in new refining technology, expanded his scale, and slowly monopolized the oil industry in the US. The seeds he had been sowing for years finally turned into a bumper harvest. Warren Buffett also loves to repeat 2 rules. Rule 1, never lose your capital. Rule 2, always remember Rule 1. For ordinary people, time and opportunities to make money are limited. Only when we treat capital protection as our top principle can we accumulate assets, let money generate more money, and create wealth continuously. Getting rich has no shortcut. If your capital keeps growing, you are on the right path. 2. The smile mindset. Psychologists believe the frequency of a teenager's smile can predict their earning potential as an adult. Research shows teenagers who tend to smile more earn about 10% more than average at age 29, while those who rarely smile earn about 30% less than average. This means people with a positive mindset who know how to smile usually find it easier to earn more money. Jews treat this mindset as a basic foundation. The Talmud writes, "A smile brings endless wealth." Take the example of a master salesman, William Weir. Thanks to his smile, he made millions of dollars selling life insurance. The key to his success was a smile that customers simply couldn't refuse. That smile wasn't natural, it was trained. He had been rejected countless times, but refused to give up. He went home and practiced his smile over and over. He hung pictures of stars with bright smiles all around the house and placed a big mirror so he could adjust his expression anytime. Gradually, he mastered the essence of smiling and created $1 million smile. He said a smile is not only an expression, but a way of thinking. People with a smile mindset easily build relationships with customers and reap results from those connections. Conrad Hilton once said, "A smile is the simplest, cheapest, and most reliable service." More importantly, a smile is the lowest cost investment with the highest return. In this world, all business relationships are an exchange of value between people. Someone with a smile mindset magnifies their advantages and wins others' goodwill. When you frequently give people your smile, they'll gladly pay for the value you bring. So smile more and treat your smile as a force that helps you build wealth. Then the day you become rich won't be far away. 3. The leverage mindset. The Talmud records a story like this. A Jew walked into a bank in New York and told the loan manager, "I want to borrow money." "How much?" the manager asked. "Is $1 okay?" The manager was surprised but answered, "Of course. As long as you have collateral, you can even borrow more if you like." The Jew pulled out a stack of stock certificates worth $500,000 and put them on the table. "Is this enough collateral?" "More than enough," the manager replied. "You just need to pay 6 cents interest. After 1 year, repay the principal and we'll return your stocks." The manager put away the stocks and handed him $1. The Jew thanked him and was about to leave. At that moment, the branch director who had watched the entire transaction ran after him. "Excuse me, I don't understand. You have $500,000 in stocks. Why only borrow $1? We'd be happy to lend you much more." The Jew smiled and said, "Don't worry about me. Before coming here, I asked several banks about safe deposit box fees. They were all quite expensive. So I decided to store my stocks at your bank instead. For just 6 cents a year, I can keep $500,000 perfectly safe." That's a bargain, isn't it? Sometimes the power of leverage thinking lies in switching from a renting mindset to a borrowing mindset. By doing so, this Jew protected his capital at a very low cost. Like Bill Gates said, "Expand your thinking. Everything has the potential to make money." If our thinking is limited, we simply can't see alternative possibilities, and a lack of flexibility only causes us losses. In this world, treasure maps may be hidden everywhere. When one road is blocked, change how you think. Maybe the path to wealth will appear the moment your mind wakes up. Before we go deeper, don't forget to follow the channel to learn more truths about money and quickly achieve financial freedom. 4. The game mindset. Jews wrote in the Talmud that money is neither sacred nor unreachable. In their view, money is like clothing, just a useful tool. Many Jewish tycoons own assets worth millions, yet they feel no psychological burden about their wealth. They describe it like this: when you make money, you are entering a playground. You're a player in the game. You must constantly compete with other players. If you can surpass them, victory will be yours. The financier J.P. Morgan agreed with this. When he talked about investing, he said, "When playing cards, observe every player carefully. You'll soon spot who lacks wisdom. If you can't, then that unwise person is probably you." As a millionaire, Morgan enjoyed making money but did not live for money. While others spent on luxury cars and mansions, he focused on studying the daily stock market. A colleague once asked, "You already have so much money. Why keep trying so hard to earn more?" Morgan replied, "Money itself isn't what matters to me. The fun lies in the process of making it and constantly facing new challenges." Seeing money as ordinary and treating the process of making it like a game, that is the sophistication of Jewish entrepreneurs. Never treat money as something overly important. Money is just part of the fun. When you treat wealth creation as a game, you'll overcome each challenge and solve each problem. Once you are immersed in the process and forget about winning or losing, forget about vain reputation, then when you finish the game, money is just the bonus prize. 5. The cotton mindset. Win-win. If someone has no cash savings, how can you still make money from them? The Talmud tells a story about the founder of Lehman Brothers, a brokerage that once made millions. In 1844, a Jew named Henry Lehman emigrated to America and opened a grocery store with his 2 brothers. But local farmers were very poor. They survived mainly on the tiny profit from growing cotton, so their purchasing power was extremely low and the stores sold very little. Lehman thought deeply and turned his attention to the farmers' cotton harvest. He believed the essence of business is mutual benefit, not only making money for himself, but also solving the farmers' problems. So he encouraged them to use cotton to exchange for daily necessities. This way, even customers without cash could still shop, the store could sell more goods, and farmers no longer had to travel far to sell cotton. Thanks to this method, the business flourished and the brothers soon became well-known merchants. Jews have a famous saying, "Even if a contract is canceled, both sides should still benefit." If you only want to profit from others, you are likely to fail. If you think only of yourself, luck will leave you. Many times, helping others gain advantages is actually opening a path for yourself to earn money. When you truly apply win-win thinking, making money becomes much easier. 6. The sending water mindset, middleman thinking. There was once a poor Jewish young man who carried and sold water for a long time. Every day he had to haul water from morning till night. One day he saw a child pasting paper onto a water barrel and suddenly had an idea. He made a bold decision: stop selling water and start giving water away for free. It sounded foolish, but within a year he earned tens of thousands of dollars and built a big business. He delivered water for free and only charged $1 as delivery fee, nothing else. This simple method quickly attracted dozens of customers. The news spread, and soon he had over 10,000 customers. The key was that he collected all of their information and went to various companies to negotiate cooperation. He told them, "I have a huge base of loyal customers and can advertise on my water barrels." Advertising on the barrels was very effective. Each barrel could carry many ads and was usually placed in visible locations. Businesses saw the value and wanted in. After they witnessed the results, he proposed that for every customer gained through the barrel ads, the company had to pay him a commission. Since the companies were already making money from those customers, they happily agreed. As a result, he made a lot of money and quickly became wealthy. This story holds many lessons, but the key is his middleman mindset. In essence, he acted as an intermediary linking two sides: consumers who wanted free water and businesses that needed advertising. The water he sent became the tool to serve both. Middleman thinking can greatly improve our life efficiency. Many of the most profitable apps today are in fact middlemen. For example, group buying platforms simply connect consumers and merchants. They help customers easily find what they need and help businesses become more visible. The app itself does very little, yet earns from both sides. Start training your own middleman mindset. Try to connect different needs. With just a little effort, you may gain surprising profits. 7. The 22-78 mindset. The 80-20 rule. This mindset sounds complex, but it's really just another way of expressing the 80-20 principle. In this world, 80% of the wealth is held by 20% of the people, and 20% of the wealth is shared by the remaining 80%. Once we understand this, our wealth accumulation becomes much more efficient. Imagine two salespeople who graduated from the same school. 5 years later, one is still struggling at the bottom, while the other has a house, a car, and a stable high income. The first salesperson treats everyone who walks into the store exactly the same. He pours all his energy into serving every customer, making no distinction. On the surface, nothing seems wrong. The second salesperson provides basic service to everyone, but he is very selective about where he invests his effort. Only when a customer is highly promising and has strong purchasing power does he give them his full attention. Some might say this is too utilitarian, but this is exactly how the 80-20 mindset works. Spending time and effort on low-value customers won't bring big returns. The second salesman realized this. He focused on the customers who control 80% of the wealth. By serving them, he gained much more. The first salesman was too fair, so he poured his energy into the group that only holds 20% of the wealth, those who can't bring much profit, and ended up with very little. This mindset can be applied to all areas of life. In friendships, many people befriend others randomly and waste time on people who bring them no value, making themselves more and more mediocre. But with the 80-20 mindset, we spend more time on high-value people, build relationships with them, and benefit from those friendships. At work, when there are many tasks, some people just do everything aimlessly. Those who understand 80-20 focus on the key tasks that have the biggest impact on overall results. The principle is simple: what can most easily influence the whole outcome? That is what truly matters. Your personal value determines your network. Many people don't understand the nature of relationships. They blindly chase shallow connections and waste time and energy, harming their own development. They think, as long as I know many people, I'll have many relationships, and those relationships will bring me opportunities. But in fact, the core of relationships is value. The more value you have, the more and stronger relationships you gain. Human nature pursues benefit. If someone brings you no value yet constantly bothers you, would you want to be close to them? Of course not. But if someone understands you, knows what you care about, and supports you, you'll naturally want to stay connected. That's because they're valuable to you, materially and emotionally. So if we want to build good relationships that help us succeed, we shouldn't waste time. Focus on improving your own value and helping others. Then, life will naturally get better without you having to force it. 8. The action mindset. There's a parable. A poor man was crying in front of the Buddha, complaining that the rich live comfortably while he always suffers. The Buddha asked, "What do you think is fair?" The poor man said, "Let the rich become poor like me and do the same work as I do." The Buddha agreed. He turned a rich man into a poor man and gave each of them a mountain of coal to mine and sell. The poor man, used to physical labor, quickly dug a cart of coal and spent the money on a big meal. The rich man, unaccustomed to hard work, took all day to dig one cart and bought only a few buns, saving the rest of the money. Day after day, both kept digging. Gradually, the rich man used his savings to hire workers to mine for him. In the end, the poor man worked himself to exhaustion, but had only dug a small corner of the mountain, and all his earnings went into food. He saved nothing. Meanwhile, the rich man had hired enough workers to mine the whole mountain, then used the money to invest in business and soon became rich again. After reading this, ask yourself, in this story, are you the poor man or the rich man? What determines wealth or poverty is thinking. Economist Julius once said, "The poor are often poor because their thinking is narrow." Your way of thinking shapes your life. 9. The iron cage mindset. At the start of the 20th century, an English businessman wanted to build a wildlife park in the African savanna to display fierce animals. He needed cages that were huge and secure. Experts told him, unless the enclosure is as large as a forest, you can't recreate natural wild behavior. But building a cage that big would blow the budget. One day, a janitor casually said, "Why do you have to lock the animals in cages?" The businessman laughed it off, thinking the cleaner was being unrealistic, and continued building cages. Another young entrepreneur, however, listened. He designed a special viewing cage that locked people inside and let the animals roam freely. With this idea, he built the largest private zoo in the world and made a fortune. That man was Carl Hagenbeck, the legendary British entrepreneur. The first businessman was trapped in an iron cage mindset. He invested heavily and got nothing, and was eventually bought out by Hagenbeck. Philosopher Schopenhauer said, "The greatest prison in the world is the human mind." Often, what limits us isn't the environment or our ability, but our rigid thinking. When facing difficulties, remind yourself, if there is no road through the mountain, I'll find a way across. If this path is blocked, I'll change paths. Once you step out of the fixed frame and look at life from a different angle, your world will no longer be limited. 10. The sunny day mindset. People usually say, on sunny days, prepare an umbrella so you won't worry when it rains. But in the eyes of many poor people, they only see today's sunshine and ignore tomorrow's storm. 20 years ago, an outstanding student from Tsinghua University became a technician at a steel factory. He was well educated and hardworking, and quickly got promoted with a higher salary. However, he noticed the factory's profits were dropping, and traditional industries were shrinking. The internet era was approaching. After careful consideration, he left his stable job and entered e-commerce. Many people couldn't understand and advised him not to give up a secure job for fantasy. But he saw that the stability was only on the surface. Beneath were constant changes. So he left decisively. 10 years later, his e-commerce company was making millions of dollars annually, while many who clung to their iron rice bowl had been laid off or stagnated. People who have never suffered often believe life will always be smooth. Yet in an ever-changing era, you never know where risk will appear. Skilled cashiers can still be replaced by self-checkout machines. A sunny day mindset prevents people from seeing hidden risks, so when the storm hits, they are caught off guard. Don't wait until the huge wave is right in front of you to realize there is no turning back. Stay alert, keep learning and improving, and embrace new possibilities. Only then can you keep your footing in a world that never stops changing. 11. The elevator mindset. Imagine a picture, a lonely staircase with only one person on it, and a crowded elevator packed with people. The more crowded a path is, the more we want to follow it. You've surely seen people like this. They hear that the stock market is profitable and rush to invest. They see short-form videos becoming popular and all want to become streamers. Everyone is taking civil service exams, so they sign up for exam prep classes. The result? They lose money in stocks, no one watches their live streams, and they fail the exam. Many people are stuck in an elevator mindset, trapped in patterns and blindly following the crowd, which leaves them with no path of their own. Warren Buffett once told a story about a small town. One person opened a gas station and did very well. A second person arrived and opened another gas station, then a third, a fourth, until the town was full of gas stations and business dried up. Latecomers all lost money. Robert Kiyosaki wrote in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that the hardest part of accumulating wealth is sticking with your own choices without blindly following the crowd. Those who stand out are the ones who can think independently, act calmly, distinguish right from wrong, and carefully consider before doing anything. That's how they gain control of their lives. Sometimes, raising your head to look at the road is more important than bowing your head to work hard. When you find the right direction, persist, and go deep, you will shine through accumulated effort. Journalist Barbara Ehrenreich interviewed 6 of the poorest workers. She found they had similar experiences. After getting jobs, they chose to live far out in the suburbs to save money, so they spent long hours commuting every day. As a result, they had almost no time left to improve themselves, gradually turning into work machines with no energy for anything else. She wrote that the biggest hole in the thinking of the poor is overvaluing money. Wealth flows toward those who are compatible with it. People with a cheap mindset don't want to invest in their long-term growth, trapping themselves in a cycle of poverty. By contrast, people with a rich mindset invest generously in themselves and therefore achieve higher levels, even if they start at the same place as everyone else. Those trapped in cheap thinking slowly fall behind because they refuse to spend money on self-development. There's a saying I completely agree with. Every dollar you earn is the result of an upgrade in your awareness. Every dollar you lose comes from a lack of awareness. The world is constantly changing. New technologies and business models appear all the time. Every industry is facing disruptive shifts. Pinching pennies can never compare to continuously spending money to improve yourself. Investing in meaningful things brings long-term benefits. What you invest in yourself will always be repaid in the future. A line from the Journey of Awareness says, "How far your achievements go in this life depends on how far your thinking can support you. Thinking determines your path, and if your thinking isn't high enough, your steps can never reach far." Remember, more frightening than poverty is remaining stuck in a poor mindset. If you keep sharpening your thinking and wake up early in awareness, one day you will break through your own limits and see a much wider world. There's a saying, the essence of wealth is the materialization of an abundant mindset. Those without abundant thinking can only live in the present and easily miss opportunities to get rich. When you break the barriers in your mind and see beyond your blind spots, money-making opportunities will appear. As the Talmud says, thinking allows you to see things and benefits that others cannot see. If you're worried about being poor and can't find a way out, try changing your worldview. Learn to think like the rich. When you change your mental model and overcome the limits of your awareness, wealth will naturally find its way to you.